Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering unboxing. So today we're going to look at the recently released core set 2020, more specifically the bundle for the core set. So as you can see here, it comes with 10 boosters, but what else do we have in the pack? So we have an alternative art premium 4 Chandra's regulator card, 20 premium 4 and 20 regular basic lands, a couple of reference cards, the aforementioned 10-15 card core set 2020 booster packs, the card box is essentially what this becomes, and a special oversized spin down life counter. Okay, so as always, I've tried to avoid looking at the cards too much, so it's a good experience for me doing this. I did quite take a quick look, a very quick look to get a rough idea of the makeup of the set on Decked Builder, and there's lots of really, well, there should be lots of really interesting things in here. So the other thing, and I've mentioned this before, well, that's just our security card. If you're really careful with this, interesting. I think I've seen these in the pack before. Some sort of generic or general promo for the theme. Yeah, so this outer thing here, there's a seal down here which is held together with that sort of weird glue that they use for sticking CDs to the front of music magazines. And if you're careful, okay, you can open this out and you actually get artwork. It's a bit difficult to see in close up here, but there's like a long form artwork there, like Chandra. Okay, and then we got two parts to this. This is just I've always liked the fact they've done this now. They used to just put these sort of throwaway spacer items in here, which used to stretch this box out so it fitted the outer packaging. Now they've got this. I mean, it's pretty basic, it's just a cardboard box, but it's handy for, you know, holding all your other magic paraphernalia like spin down counters. Oh, okay, so here we go. There's our oversized dice. So this one is a slightly different style they've moved over to now. Let me just try and compare and contrast. So this is a irregular, or the one that you've been getting up till now. This is a new one. These always had like a mottling effect on them. This is a bit different. This has got like a liquid metal sort of effect to it. It's pretty cool. So it's like metallic grey background with red writing on there, and then you can see the M20 set logo. Cool. We've got a number of individually wrapped packs there, and then there's our 10 boosters. Return to the nice shiny metallic packs. They do feel a little bit thicker as well. That's cool. So these are just the two game descriptors, whatever you want to call them, that they put in. I'm trying to remember what they actually called them on the pack. Oh, reference code, that's it. So it just lays out, you know, what the popular formats are: standard, booster draft, and commander. And Planeswalker loyalty points. Got a little loyalty dice there. That'd be a cool thing to give away in this actually as well. Okay, let's have a look at the land artwork and then we'll go through this. So what you normally find, the big thing about the core sets, now they've returned, is they are like a 50-50. I think they're still a 50-50 anyway, of reprints and new cards. And that's something that started, so back in the day, core sets were always 100% reprints. And then after 10th edition, so the first core set where they changed it up would have been M10. So they had 10th edition and then they had M10. And in M10 they did this 50-50 split between 50% new cards and 50% reprints. And then they kept that up to today. Obviously we had a gap when they weren't doing core sets, and now we're back to core sets again with that split of reprints and new cards. So one thing you notice is that a lot of the artwork looks very familiar. There's a certain look and feel to it. It's pretty nice. It'd be interesting to see what these look like with the foil ones. So any long-term players watching may recognise quite a bit of this artwork from previous sets or previous core sets and previous. Although that looks very Ravnica-like. We've got a foil Chandra's regulator in here. In a little bit. So 1 and a red legendary artifact. It's at rare. Whenever you activate a loyalty ability of Chandra Planeswalker, you may pay 1. If you do, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. 1 tap, discard a mountain card or a red card, draw a card. So this is our full versions of the land. That's pretty cool. And they're not bent at all. Well, I don't know how well this is coming out on camera. These look really nice, actually. I hope this is going to be a thing. Yeah, the whole thing's foiled. With some it's better than others. One of the things with foiling like this you get is often makes some of the artwork look more sort of washed out, whereas it just depends on the artwork really. On other artwork, stuff in the scene really pops and just adds an extra level of depth to it. So it seems to have two effects really, just depending on the artwork. Either it can just make, sometimes bizarrely, the artwork look slightly flatter and washed out, and other times it can make it really pop. Okay, so our second Chandra's regulator, and then more foils. I wonder if this... So I'm just thinking here, well, these look really cool. So I'm just going to double check something whether I read that right. 20 premium foil and 20 regular basics. So we have the equivalent, I think, here of a land god pack. Somewhere along the line I've actually got 2 packs of the Chandras in here. Let me know if anybody else has opened these and had a similar experience. So yeah, we've got 2 lots of the foil packs. So we've actually got 40 foils, 40 land foils, and then 20 regular land. Interesting. Okay, well, that's a good start. Okay, continued with the nice foiliness. Let's get on to the main event. There's a number of legends and planeswalkers in this, I believe, just from my quick glance over the set. Actually, before we do that, that's interesting. Okay, so that's a new thing. There is no encyclopedia in here. Okay. I'll probably, I wonder if for a cool set it's not really worth it, because there's nothing new in terms of, well, I say nothing new, but the theme's pretty broad. I never really thought about that. So something else different. Sanitarium skeleton, angelic gift, healer of the glade, epicure of blood, rabid bite, reduced to ashes, unsummon, greenwood sentinel, it's got vigilance on it, marauder's axe, thicket crasher, hard cover. So moving on to our uncommons, Chandra Spitfire, Yarrick's Wave Crasher, and our rare is Tail's End. 1 and a blue, instant, counter target, activated ability, triggered ability, or legendary spell. And we have a mountain. Oh, nice, I like these tokens. Style to this, that's a soldier token. Yeah, so clearly for this, and I'm hoping they're not going to do this for other stuff. Maybe it's just a core set thing. Hopefully they won't be doing it for other bundles for expansion sets. It's basically saying, you know, if you want to see what the cards are, go to the website. and find out at mtgstory.com. Okay, we have a yoked ox, squad captain, duress, aerial assault, destructive digger, convolute, murder, stone golem, Vorstclaw, shock is in the set, devout decree, tome bound leash with death touch and lifelink. It's at uncommon. So often in the uncommon cards it's always good to look out for multicolored cards, because often they give clues about possible sealed strategies in terms of either drafting, limited strategies, either in terms of a sealed strategy with a sealed pool, or a drafting strategy in terms of, if certain cards turned up early in the draft, it might give you an idea of what particular deck to build, or line of deck building to go down. So you often find at uncommon there's a lot of two coloured cards here. So we've got a blue-black tone-bound leash. It's a creature zombie wizard with death touch and lifelink. Whenever tone-bound leash enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. And that's a 1/3. And we've got lightning stormkin. So this is blue-red, creature elemental wizard with flying and haste. You can notice, because this is a core set, they will include extra information in the rules text in terms of certain keywords and abilities, and actually explain exactly what, in this case, haste is, what lifelink is, what death touch is. Wherein a non-core set, they won't normally do that unless it's a keyword or an ability that is new to the game. Is requires people to understand actually how it works. Whereas with some of these evergreen abilities, they won't do that with anything that's non-core set. Dracius, Maw of Flames, I think that is. 4 and 3 red, 7/7 legendary creature dragon with flying. Whenever Dracius, Maw of Flames attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. We have a swamp and a treasure token. So that would be our first legendary. Yes, I believe there's a number of legendaries in here, and also planeswalkers. Okay. Act of Treason, Undead Servant, Dawning Angel, Zephyr Charge, Moat Piranhas, Griffin Protector, Gift of Paradise, Keldon Raider, Boreal Elemental, Gauntlets of Light, Overgrowth Elemental. There is an elemental theme in this set. And we've also got, I forgot this as well, we've got Planeswalkers at uncommon. So 3 in a red, Chandra Novice Pyromancer, legendary Planeswalker Chandra, +1. Elementals you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. -1, add 2 red, and -2. Chandra Novice Pyromancer deals 2 damage to any target. So obviously by putting this in at uncommon, and also the fact that it cares about elementals, there's going to be more chance that you're going to see this when you open up a pool of cards, which means they want it to indicate that this is a strong theme in the set, basically. And that's how they do that. So they play around with the themes at the different rarities, because the idea is when you open a pack of cards, if they put stuff at the lower rarities, you're more likely to see it. Therefore, you're more likely to get an idea that that's what the set is about. Got a Leyline of Sanctity. So 2 and 2 white enchantment. If Leyline of Sanctity is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Very simple. You have hexproof, and then it goes on to explain what hexproof means. And then we have, this is interesting. So the other thing they've done here, lots of things going on. They've obviously put some non-basic lands at the common cycle. There's a common cycle in here, obviously. Looking at this, Rugged Highland enters the battlefield. Tap, when Rugged Highland enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap, add red or green. And that's obviously in the land slot, and this is also a pack with a foil in it. So we've got Moldavine Reclamation, 3 black or green enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, you gain 1 life and draw a card. And we have a soldier token. And the other thing that I'd just noticed, actually on the back of the token, it has more instructions about playing the game. Some of these have, look at the other token, some just have a, an advert for MTG Arena, and some obviously clearly have turn instructions, or probably some other game mechanic. It's funny, I feel a little lost without that player's encyclopedia. I should have read the back of the packet before I opened it. Serves me right, really. Otherwise I would have done a bit more research on the set, because part of the enjoyment of me when I do these unboxes it is actually discovering a little bit about the set from that encyclopedia. And so I'm just really learning everything almost from looking at the cards here. Duress, Inspiring Captain, Squad Captain, Sanitarium Skeleton, Sedge Scorpion, it's got Death Touch on it, Lavakin Brawler, Unsummon, Netcaster Spider, Goblin Smuggler, Natural End, Colossus Hammer. Well, it's 1 to cast. Equipped creature gets +10/+10 and loses flying. I'm not surprised with a hammer of that size. Equipped for 8. Fencing Ace, Scholar of the Ages, Glinthorn Buccaneer is our rare. So 1/2 red for creature, Minotaur Pirate. That's a combination. 2/4 haste. Whenever you discard a card, Glinthorn Buccaneer deals 1 damage to each opponent. 1 in a red, discard a card, draw a card. Activate this ability only if Glinthorn Buccaneer is attacking. We have a Plains and a Demon token, which doubles up as an ad for Friday Night Magic. Yeah, these packs definitely have a bit of a different feel to them. Quite, like I said, I always remember foil packs from around the time of original Zendikar, and they've got that. They're pretty sturdy actually. Yoked Ox, Zephyr Charge, Epicure of Blood, Aerial Assault, Shock, Moat Piranhas, Marauder's Axe, Anvil Wrought Raptor, Rabid Bite, Keldon Raider, Disfigure is in the set, Pulse of Marasa, Scampering Scorcher, which is creature elemental. We have our first Mythic, and we have Mu Yangling Skydancer, 1/2 blue, legendary Planeswalker Yanglings, 2 loyalty. So the +2 until your next turn, up to 1 target creature gets -2, -0 and loses flying. The -3, create a 4/4 blue elemental bird creature token with flying, and the -8, you get an emblem with lands you control have tap, draw a card. And there's a Bloodfell Caves in the land slot. So this is black-red. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. And we have a rather cool-looking wolf token there, which I'm sure would look awesome in foil. Healer of the Glade, Bone Splinters is in the set, Glaring Aegis, Anticipate, Metropolis Sprite, Murder, Pacifism, Ferocious Pup, Destructive Digger, Winged Words, Apostle of I nearly said Apostle of Putrefying Light, Apostle of Purifying Light, which that would probably be better. Retributive Wand, Cerulean Drake. I'm just looking at this because it's interesting that what we're starting to see is more stuff filter through to core sets. This is an ongoing thing, so I think, as I said before the video started, there went since probably, I don't know, 10th edition core set onwards, they've slowly brought stuff in which they deliberately kept out of core sets to avoid complexity. So things like, I think 10th edition was the first core set to have legendary creatures in it. Also, it took them a while in core sets before they started putting gold cards in, cards which have more than 1 colour on them. And something else is things like pro protection from colours, or protection from this, protection from that. And that's something else that they avoided putting into core sets, from what I remember. So with the Cerulean Drake, we're in a core set, and you do actually have, so you've got a creature, it's 1 in a blue with flying and protection for red. This creature can't be blocked, targeted, dealt damage, enchanted, or equipped by anything red. Sacrifices Cerulean Drake, counter target spell that targets you, and it's a 1/1. And we have another ley line. We have a ley line of Anticipation, 2 and 2 blue enchantment. If Ley Line of Anticipation is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. You may cast spells as though they had flash, a swamp, and a zombie token. Okay, Blade Brand is our first common in the pack. Angelic Gift, Befuddle. Another Undead Servant. Got Thicket Crasher. Ravine Protector. Gift of Paradise. Chandra's Embercat. Boreal Elemental. Angel of Vitality. Might of the Masses. So we're moving on to our uncommons. We have Creeping Trailblazer. So this is the red-green uncommon indicator card. So 2/2. And other elementals you control get +1/+0. 2 red-green. Creeping Trailblazer gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each elemental you control. Dread Presence is our rare. 3 and a black. It's a 3/3 creature Nightmare. Whenever a swamp enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Dread Protector deals 2 damage to any target and you gain 2 life. We have Jungle Hollow in our land slot. And our foil is Herald of the Sun. So it's an uncommon. It's 4, 2 white for a 4/4 creature angel with flying. For 3 and a white, put a 1/1 counter on another target creature with flying. And then we have another wolf token. Dawning Angel, Disenchant, Fathom Fleet Cutthroat, interesting. Inspired Charge, Wolfkin Bond, Frostlink is in the set, Leafkin Druid, Reckless Airstrike, another Convolute, Griffin Sentinel, Blood-Soaked Altar. Oh yeah, that's something else. So we've got coloured artifacts, of course. 4, 2 black. It is an artifact, but it's in black. Pay 2 life, discard a card, sacrifice a creature, create a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying. Activate this ability only any time you could cast a sorcery. God's Willing. And we have a non-basic land at uncommon. This is Cryptic Caves, so tap, add colourless mana. And for 1 tap, sacrifice Cryptic Caves, draw a card, activates this ability only if you control 5 or more lands. Another legendary. This one's at rare. This is Sephira Sky's Blade. 4 and 4 white. Legendary creature angel. It's a 7/7. You may pay white and tap 4 untapped creatures you control with flying rather than pay this spell's mana cost. So we've got an alternative casting cost. It's got flying and lifelink. Other creatures you control with the flying have indestructible. And we have an island and another treasure token. Going down, we've got our last 2 packs now. So this is some pretty good pulls here. We've got some ley lines. We've got some legendaries. We've had 1 mythic so far. And we've also had 1 foil. So if that's all we get, I'm actually pretty happy with that. Lots of interesting cards as well, just generally. Moment of Heroism, Barony Vampire, Battalion Foot Soldier, Fortress Crab, Centaur Courser, a lot of cards here we've not seen yet I think. Fire Elemental, Bone to Ash, Gorging Vulture, Scorch Spitter, Salvager of Ruin, Captive Captivating Jar, so we're on to uncommons, Unchained Berserker. Okay, this is always cool to get a rare land. So this is actually in our rare slot. Field of the Dead. And Field of the Dead enters the battlefield tapped. Tap, add colorless mana. Whenever Field of the Dead or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names. Okay, 7 or more lands with different. Credit 2/2 black zombie creature token. Wow, that's fairly complex for a core set. We got a plains, and oh, there we go, foil mountains. So we have our second foil, which is a land. Goes to our big pile of extra foils we got as well in here. And we have a demon token. Okay, so we've got our last pack now. And this contain our another mythic. You never know your luck. Okay, a bit of an explanation there on our token about attacking and blocking, but let's go through this in the correct order. Teutonic Rift. Oh, sorry, Teutonic Rift. Dear me. Tectonic Rift. Okay. Tectonic Rift. Mind Rot. Okay, that's in the set. So 2 and a black. Target player discards 2 cards. Moorland Inquisitor. Feral Abomination. Brightwood Tracker. Daggersail Aeronaut. Octoprophet. I don't think we've seen an Octoprophet yet. 3 and a blue for 3/3 creature octopus. When Octoprophet enters the battlefield, scry 2. Infuriate. Pacifism. Yeah, there's quite a few cards here we've not seen yet. Common. Changed up the pacifism artwork there. Growth Cycle. Gruesome Scourger. So here's our uncommon gold card. This is Corpse Knight. So white, black, 2/3 zombie, creature zombie knight. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. Overcome. Ooh. We have a legendary creature in our rare slot. It's Villis, Broker of Blood. 5 and 3 black. Legendary creature demon with flying. Single black, pay 2 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. It's 8/8. We've got a Rugged Highlands and a soldier token with our blocking and attacking reminder on it. So there we have it. We've got some pretty interesting cards in here. A few legendaries. We got our mythic. We got 2 foils, one of which was a foil land. We had effectively a packing mistake here, I assume it is. So we've ended up with 20 foil lands, which is rather nice. New token artwork. So yeah, lots to be pleased about. I'm rather disappointed we didn't get the normal encyclopedia. That blindsided me a bit. I'd not done much research because of, it's always nice to do this fresh from my point of view, if nothing else. And I don't think I'd even looked on MTG Wiki, which was probably a mistake. That would have given me a bit of an overview. But of course I was assuming that there would be an encyclopedia in here, and I would get a grasp of some of the key stuff in there, and certainly be able to see the set in its entirety at the end, because they always have that card list at the end. One thing to look out for then, with the fact we don't have that to talk about, is again, keep your eye open. There are going to be certain cards in the set which won't, if this is in keeping with how they've been doing things up to now, but there's certain cards that won't be found by just opening boosters. So what normally happens is there's a number of extra cards which are either, one place they come in through is the actual Planeswalker decks. So you'll find there's certain cards in the Planeswalker decks which aren't, you won't find them in boosters, and also certain cards again that may appear in the toolkit which also wouldn't necessarily be in the boosters. So I will be opening a toolkit in probably about a week's time, and we'll take a look at that, and hopefully we might see a few more cards that we've not seen in this particular box opening. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.